Hello, aspirants. Welcome to the weekly current affairs of Alchemy IAS Institute. We are here going to discuss the last 1 week some important topics of current affairs that articles came in news and which is relevant for UPSC, civil service, prelims and mains and interviews. So without further delay, we will start. There was an article about the failure of Delhi's PPP model for slum rehabilitation. The proposed public private partnership model for slum rehabilitation in Delhi. So, what are the causes of this failure? It is explained that the service providers or like private construction companies are not interested in this PPP model due to less commercial viability or commercial non-viability. What makes them not interested, or like what is the issue, or what is the concern of this private institutions or private companies who are construction companies who can do this slum rehabilitation works, but they are not. Why they are not coming? What is the commercial side of this? One thing is that low profile margins when they are taking this PPP model slum rehabilitation in Delhi. So they will be comparing the profitability of slum rehabilitation in Delhi and other commercial project in nearby cities like Gurgaon. So when they are comparing, they feel that profit margin they are getting from slum rehabilitation through PPP model in Delhi is not viable. That low profit margin. Then another thing is this high upfront cost for this slum rehabilitation project. For that, like for that rehabilitation of slum, first what they have to do, they have to find a temporary settlement for these inhabitants of the slum. So that extra burden will be there. That makes the cost higher. So together this will be uh, like uh, less commercial or like less profitable. And the floor area rules by DDA is actually unattractive. It is the earlier rule. Those norms also not much profitable for the private construction companies. Another factor is the policy and regulatory bottlenecks of DDA and that policy norms of central government also. It's like bureaucratic delays happen when they are taking up this project also, that uh, delay because of this red tapeism and strict norms are there, that delay happen, and central government approval also sometimes it's not getting on time. So that's also a concern for slum rehabilitation project. And the physical and land challenge is also there, the encumbrance of land, that is a concern, the clean land is not available. And uh, about this land encumbrance also, there is a vague, or like there is an uncertainty, that legal uncertainty is there, and the land is fragmented, so that one single land is not available. Some land are that ownership is actually ownership fragmented land ownership problem is there, like some the land is actually owned by many people, like part of the land is owned by someone else, and that ownership right is also not clearly uh, established, or is like the vague land ownership is there. So these are the concern about that physical challenges. What else? The community resistance and social constraints are there. Like the people who are living in the slum area, they are actually having a fear of displacement. So often they resist for these projects. That community resistance happen whenever there is a slum cleaning, or that removal is attempted. That resistance they are facing. And social integration issue is there, that cultural uh, problem is there, that The people who are living in slum, they are not ready to replace, and often the demands are actually like not viable. This issue is there. And about this PPP model, it has a very poor track record. Only one PPP project so far got like almost successful. You can say like what only one PPP model has been established, and the low occupancy rate like for a completed unit also. So that also make the uh, like construction companies are not interested in this model. And there is no like or is like lack of developer incentives is there, like insufficient remuneration for developers, those who are developing this project, insufficient remuneration, and delay in monetization of the project also. So when if they are investing there, they will be getting the return only after a certain period of time. So that delay is also there. And if you look at that national trend, show a similar failure, that in situ slum rehabilitation project, it says like under the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, urban has failed nationally. So that was a failed track record, it's like poor track record about the PPP model. That also made this less attractive for Delhi's PPP model slum rehabilitation. So you can quote these issues as a if you getting a topic in essay, you can quote this, or it's like you can expect a development or it's like a social issue questions in the UPSC mains. Okay, and you can actually if you're attending interview, if that question comes from like what is a viability or why that PPP model in Delhi, the slum rehabilitation is not viable, that is a concern there. Okay, so these are the concern, or it's like you can expect these concern, sorry, these kind of questions during the interview time. Okay. Then there was a article about India's cybercrime challenges. So that issue, or it's like that light of this article was India loses around 1,000 crore per month to cybercrime frauds. So that it's a report by the Ministry of Home Affairs data, and it says that India loses every month 1,000 crores of rupees for cyber fraud, or those who are like involved in getting trapped in the cyber fraud cases. So over 7,000 crore lost between last January to May month. And major fraud hubs are Cambodia, Myanmar, Vietnam, Thailand, and Laos. So it is evident that these countries are actually like the people who are like the cyber fraud gangs situated in these countries are mainly focusing on India, and the even Indians or like uh, the local those who are knowing the local language also involved in this nexus, involved in this crime. And the operation often linked to Chinese controlled network using trafficked Indian workers. Like some reports saying that the workers who went to China as a like the people who went to Indians who went to China, or it's like some people got stuck in other countries, they have been trafficked to China, and they are being part of this cybercrime fraud network. So what are the key forms of cyber crimes that we are facing in India? One is phishing, or we can also call it as smishing or wishing. What do you mean by phishing? Phishing is something like a fraud, like fraud via SMS or email or SMS, found to steal sensitive data. How this phishing is being done? Phishing is been done by like a look-alike website will be created, like some social media website like Facebook or Instagram, some like very popular website that the fraud people will create the copies of that popular website, and they will be sending a link to the mobile phone via SMS or email. If you are clicking on that link, it will redirect to another website redirect to that website that we have to fill our credentials like your username and password. Then after that it will directly link to the redirect to the original website. But what will happen, these credentials will be uh, available for those who created this link, that fraud or like this nexus, like cyber criminals. So our credentials will be given to that person and they can access our account. That is phishing. This is a very like minor case about the social media. This issue can be like a very major. It's like they can use our bank accounts, also like they can use our DigiLocker, and they can steal our data and money. Another one is ransomware. That a famous example was WannaCry. It happened like WannaCry was a very famous before for 5 years. The ransomware is something like they will steal the data of a user and they will demand an ransom money for getting that data back. Like they would demand money, like suppose like a cyber criminal is locking your laptop, locking your phone, and they are contacting you like you have to give me 5,000 rupees, 10,000 rupees, then only we will unlock your phone or laptop. Otherwise, your all data will be lost. So the data includes maybe like your personal photos, personal data, official data, like your research work, many things will be there. So for getting those data back, what we will do, we will give that money. So they will leave it. So this is kind of a online kidnapping or like kind of a online fraud. Then about whale or spear phishing. This is something bigger, like whale means something bigger. It's target senior executives or it's like whaling or a specific users spear. They will be targeting on bigger companies or bigger users. That is whale. Then cyber stalking. It's repeated unwanted contact via digital channel. It's something like a real life stalking. It cyber stalking means they'll be contacting or it's like they will be stalking, that cyber criminals will be stalking a person through social media or like cyber platform. And identity theft, impersonation, identity theft by unauthorized use of personal information. So why this identity theft? Identity theft is for another cyber crime, or it's like it is for a deepfake or pretending like someone or you, and doing other criminal activities with like that. And investment scam on Ponzi scheme. Uh, when the cryptocurrency started, the central government, the union government of India has that Ministry of Finance also, Ministry of Home Affairs also want the users that cryptocurrency can be a Ponzi scheme. Like there is no authority, there is no like central authority for controlling this cryptocurrency kind of thing. So this digital currency, unless it is a fiat currency by the central government, that there is no visible or there is no central authority will be there for handling these currencies. So investment or these kind of crypto currencies can be anytime that can be a cyber fraud. Like, and it's also include the fake app promising high returns, like this gambling app, or it's like a investment app, loan app also actually sometimes. And Trojan horse, it's very famous kind of a like a virus kind of a thing. Trojan horses, it's a malware disguised as legitimate software. It will be pretending like a legitimate software, but it is a malware. It will disrupt the normal functioning of the system. It will steal your data also. And digital arrest, this is something like very recently this digital arrest is being in the social media. It is viral, like fraud or it's like criminal kind of people will be contacting you and informing you that you are under digital arrest, and for releasing you, you have to pay this much money. But they doesn't have any connection with the authorities. They doesn't have any connection with the police or like that. They'll be pretending like, okay, yes, you are under digital arrest, and they will be saying like you are under digital arrest, and they have this and this evidence with you. Okay, we can like dissolve the FIR, we can quash the FIR, but you have to bribe or you have to pay this much money. Then we will do like that. Digital arrest. And Fatboy Panel Trojan, it says Android banking Trojan stealing the OTP via WhatsApp. Okay, through WhatsApp, your one-time password, that banking password will be stolen by these cyber criminals. And deepfake, it's another actually like not yet the threat level is actually not established much. This is just an introduction of this threat. Deepfake, it's a combination of two words, that is deep learning and faking. Like learn the personal information, personal means features, or else like features of a person, facial features of a person, voice modulation of a person, and the faking or else like generated fake videos that and to impersonate a non-person. Deepfake is not always bad, or else like it is not always illegal. Some deepfake videos are usually we saw that deepfake videos in movies and all. So those kind of videos actually like legitimate use of deepfake for journals, or else like for a creative content, or for a like passed away person, like a dementia person. We will be recreating their memories. Legitimate use of deepfake is there, but mainly this deepfake is used by the cyber criminals. So what are the causes, key causes behind the rising cyber crimes in India? That one is digital boom, that a massive rise in the digital infrastructure and users after the geo revolution, we can say like that, after the geo revolution and after the smartphone revolution, that the number of people using this smartphone and internet has risen drastically, and that massive users, that is a viable or vulnerability for this cybercrime. And remote work and poor cyber hygiene, like during the post COVID digitalization outspaced the security awareness. Like many people, like more and more people came to that cyber space, or like more and more people got the access of this smartphone and this internet. And what happened, like that work from home, all these kind of things started. But when these kind of cyber users are being like boomed, but not proper cyber hygiene has been taught to them, or it's like no proper cyber hygiene is being practiced among them. So cyber hygiene means not touching anything unsafe, not clicking any unknown link, not giving your credential to unknown website or anything, like not trading, or it's like not investing in uh, non-legitimate website, or it's like traders. Those these are cyber hygiene, but this cyber hygiene practice is not well prepared, or it's like not well implemented. And the anonymity of internet, like the perpetrators often operate cross border, like they will be operating outside the India, and there are like VPN kind of loopholes are also there. Like even if they are operating inside the India, that location like uh, will be like spoofing, like that location will be showing it somewhere else. And the weak legal enforcement, like as of now, we don't have much legal provisions for defending these cyber crimes. Yes, there is IT Act is there, and still now we are relying on that our old IPC CRPC is there, but that updation is there. BNS is there, but still we are following that old school like laws only. Like the cyberspace is actually growing massively, growing drastically, but the laws are not properly created, or it's like not properly implemented. There loopholes are there in the laws. The legal problem is also there, and lack of awareness, that citizens and small business are unaware of basic cyber security. They will be knowing how to use the phone, but they are not aware about the basic cyber security. So what are the government's multi-pronged response for this cyber security? Legal and policy measures are there, actually yes, but not well established. And we have IT Act of 2000, that legal provisions for phishing and hacking is there. We are going to discuss about. And a new criminal code in 2023, yes, BNS is there. BNSS, it allows EFIR, electronic trials, like electronic FIR, like we can file the FIR through online. And Indian Evidence Act, that new thing, the Bharatiya Sakshya Adhiniyam, that treats electronic records as a primary evidence, and digital communication devices admissible in the court. The digital evidence are admissible in the court. So, what are the institutional initiative by Indian Cybercrime Coordination Center, I4C, that function that National Coordination of Cyber Crime Enforcement. And certain, you might have, so these messages from certain, text SMS from certain. They are actually National Cyber Security Incident Response Agency. And Cyber Swachhata Kendra, it provides anti-malware tools. Cyber Swachhata Kendra. National Cybercrime Reporting Portal is there, like online portal. We can report the cybercrime, or we can file the cybercrime complaint through online. And we have a 19304 like helpline number is there when we are a victim of this cyber fraud, like real-time coordination between a banks, police, and a victim. And E0 FIR, that electronic FIR, and it's a zero FIR also. Like what do you mean by zero FIR? The FIR can be filed in any police station, any irrespective of the jurisdiction, wherever it happened. Okay, where, like, let it happen at anywhere else, but we can file the FIR, we can file the complaint in any police station. That is zero FIR. And E0 FIR means we can file those complaints through electronic media, that is online. And then Sanchar Sathi, like it's a DOT initiative for a tracing or lost stolen phones, SIM, or misuse. And we have a mule hunter, that is a mule hunter.ai by RBI, detect mule accounts in banking network. Detect the mule accounts in banking network. That was RBI's initiative. So what are the strategic measures for this cybercrime? We have .bank.in domain, that secure banking web identity. It is mandatory by October 2025. All the banking identity will be .bank.in, that is India. Then we have Samanya platform, Central Cyber Crime Data Sharing, and Cyber Fraud Mitigation Center is there, coordinate with the financial institutions, banks. And we have cross-border collaboration is there. It is actually proposed, not yet implemented, not much planned, for tracking the Southeast Asian based fraud hubs. Like we have saw that, like where these cyber criminals are there. Okay, they are where they are from there, where they are operating. So Southeast Asian is more focused for this cyber crimes. So what are the challenges ahead? Yes, the weak international legal collaboration, like the laws will be different for different countries. The international collaboration is not that not that there as expected. So the weak international legal collaboration, low cyber literacy among citizens. Yes, I have already told you that. Yes, everyone can uh, know how to use the phone, but that cyber literacy is very low. Like still you will be getting that fraud or phishing messages by non-people also. They will be thinking that this is a true incident. If somebody is sharing that AI generated deepfake content without realizing that this is fake content, so that cyber literacy among citizen is low, and a shortage of cyber security professionals, like cyber security or cyber security like analysts are not much in India. This profession is not yet much established. It's kind of a like that number of people engaged in this profession is very less, and the importance or relevance is not much addressed as till now. So the professionals, those who are experts in cyber security, is less in number. And underutilization of cyber security budget, like the growing threat is actually cyber security. It's there, but there is no budget share for this, for addressing this threat. And resistance to regulatory tech upgradation by the small firms and the local bodies. Like when there is a proposal for upgrading your cyber security, it's actually a bit expensive. So that small firms are not ready, or they are reluctant to upgrade their security or tech for this cyber security. Maratha military landscape. Next topic, Maratha military landscape. Got the 44 World Heritage Site in India. UNESCO World Heritage Site. India's 44th World Heritage Site. So why? What is the importance? The Maratha military landscape is a group of fort, or a number of fort uh, developed or built by the Maratha Empire, including the Chhatrapati Shivaji. So what is the relevance? What is the speciality. These forts are not aesthetically or it's like beautiful kind of a court like a Mughal architecture. These courts are designed to defend the Maratha Empire, to fight against the enemies. So the construction or the setup is actually like how to tackle the enemy with the minimum resources, with the minimum army. For that, the Marathas used the geography of western coastal area. They used the geography and they designed in such a manner that the guerrilla warfare is can be efficiently used. That technique can be used here against the enemies. So we have to note which are the fort that Maratha military landscape. The 12 forts are being like added in the UNESCO's World Heritage Site. 11 in Maharashtra, there is Salhar, Shivneri, Logat, Khanderi, Raigat, Rajgat, Pratapgarh, Suvarnadurg, Panhala, Vijayadurg, and Sindhudurg. And one from Tamil Nadu, that is Gingepur Fort. So this 12 fort you have to remember. We can expect a question in the upcoming prelims examination, like what, like something related to this fort or something, because it is relevant. Especially, it is a 44th UNESCO's World Heritage Site in India. Recently, 4 members being nominated to Rajya Sabha. So what are the like provisions or how these members are being nominated? You know that the members of Rajya Sabha not fully elected, partially nominated members are there. 12 members are being nominated by the President of India, and the other members are indirectly elected through proportional representation by single transferable vote. That MLAs are the people, MLAs are electing the Rajya Sabha MPs. So what about these nominated members? Why the nominated members are needed in Rajya Sabha? The concept or the rationale behind the nomination to Rajya Sabha is we need experts like those who are expert in literature, science, art and social services. We need expert people, but they may not be having the capacity to contest an election. Like that political capacity may not be there, not that personal capacity. They may not having the political might or influence to contest an election and win to Rajya Sabha. But we need these experts to our legislature. That's why there is a provision for nomination of 12 members to the upper house of the parliament. So what are the constitutional provision? Article 81A says that the president nominate 12 members to the Rajya Sabha, and Article 83 tells about the nominees must be eminent persons in literature, science, arts and social service. Next topic, eco-sensitive zone. What are eco-sensitive zones? They are buffer zones around the national park and wildlife sanctuary. What is the rationale? What is the need of this eco-sensitive zone? The wildlife sanctuaries and national parks are highly protected area that no human activity should be there, that because of their rich biodiversity or else their sensitive nature, for protecting the environment, no interaction is allowed in the national park and the wildlife sanctuary. Then around that border of that wildlife sanctuary or national park, if some human activities or any construction work or mining or something like something which is not good for the environment is being happened there, that will indirectly influence this national park and wildlife sanctuary. In order to avoid that risk, we will keep a buffer area around this national park and wildlife sanctuary. So that buffer area is called eco-sensitive zones. It is designed to regulate a certain human activities near the protected area to safeguard the biodiversity. That means mining or else like heavy construction works, these kind of thing, or else like hazardous industries, these are not allowed near allowed in the eco-sensitive zone. So what is allowed? Agriculture is allowed, and if it is something like a renewable energy, like plants for the renewable energy, that is also allowed. These things are allowed in the eco-sensitive zone. So no other like heavy industries or anything else is allowed in the eco sensitive zone, and it's created under the Environment Protection Act of 1986. Okay, so every national park and biodiversity center will be having a certain square, I mean a certain radius, square kilometers, or sorry, certain area, square radius of area will be notified as a eco sensitive zone. If there is no proper notification, by default it is 10 kilometers of radius, 10 kilometers of radius, 10 kilometers around the national park and wild distance from national park and wildlife sanctuary will be automatically be as a eco sensitive zone. This decision is by the Supreme Court of India. So what are the key legal and policy framework for this eco sensitive zone, or is like a this buffer zone? What is Article 48A? It's DPSP, that state shall protect the environment and wildlife. It's the duty of the state to protect the environment and wildlife. And Wildlife Conservation Strategy 2002 that first proposed the eco-sensitive zone, and Ministry of Environment and Forest Guidelines 2011 that demarcation and regulation framework for eco-sensitive zone, and Supreme Court order in 2022 says that the default eco-sensitive zone of 10 kilometers if not notified. Next topic, who is an ordinary resident? Ordinary resident. This term is evolved when the revision of electoral roll is happening in Bihar due to the proposed election. That state election is going to happen in Bihar. There is an intensive revision is happening in Bihar because there are a lot of migrants. Like Bihar has a lot of inflow and outflow is also there. Many people from Bihar is actually migrated to other places. Because of this, that voting percentage of poll is lesser than expected. So the revision is happening. So here that term ordinary resident came up and it is under discussion. So what is ER? Ordinary resident. Section 19 of the RPA, Representation of People Act of 1950 says that a person must be an ordinary resident in a constituency to be eligible for an inclusion in the electoral roll. So if someone should be having the voting right, or someone should be included in the electoral roll, that person should be an ordinary resident of that area. This provision is mentioned in the Representation of People Act of 1950. And Section 20 defines the condition under which a certain individual are exempted. If they are not an ordinary resident also, they will be getting the voting right. Who? Armed forces personnel, government employees, NRIs, okay, and that still can be treated as an ordinary resident. And those who are holding the constitutional post, if they are not an ordinary resident also, they will be treated as a resident. And regarding NRIs, they have to submit their willingness to continue as an ordinary resident in that area. Then only they will be treated as. So who is an ordinary resident? Someone who possesses a dwelling place in a constituency and resides there regularly is an ordinary resident. Okay, like if someone is not present in the constituency for a temporary period for working, or is like the temporary absence for work does not disqualify that person, does not disqualify someone from being considered as an ordinary resident. Otherwise, that person should be ordinarily having a dwelling place or as like residing in that area. Then he will be treated as an ordinary resident. And Election Commission also like give a guidelines that if you are being absent for a longer period, or if you are shifted from one place to another, better you remove your, like better you get your name listed in that constituency where you are residing normally. You have to change the constituency. Regarding deepfake, there is a news that the Denmark is proposed, or say Denmark is making a new legislation for to use copyright law to protect against deepfake. So what does the Danish bill proposed? What is the Danish bill, and what all we can take from the Denmark proposed legislation? The Denmark says that the right, or the Denmark cultural minister said that it made it simple. The right of your own voice, your own facial features, no one can copy that without your consent. So here the Denmark talks about the consent. Your facial features, your voice, your identity can't be used by anyone else without your consent. So they are emphasizing on consent. Okay, so that limitation of protection for if you are giving consent, they can be used it, and performance protection is there. If anyone is improvising that already performed something like a music or an act by artist, if they are using AI to enhance, or it's like they are using AI to upgrade the performance, those new version will not be covered in the Copyright Act. But now these things also will be covered under the Copyright Act, because without consent we can't use. That performing artist protection proposed in the bill, and posthumous protection is there. They are proposed like for after the death of a person, for a period of 50 years, this protection is available for that person. If someone died after 50, for a period of 50 years, this uh, copyright protection will be there for them. So we don't have any posthumous protection. There is no timeline for us. Yes, posthumous protection is there, but there is no timeline. And it is a consent based sharing. Like if anyone is giving a consent, they can share it. But platform accountability should be there, like that YouTube or like social media, other platform like Facebook, Instagram, these platforms. If the government or else like court is tagged that content is deep fake, they have to take it down, or else they have to take action immediately within 72 hours or something like that. It's like a it's like if platforms are accountable for stopping the content which is looking very realistic using deepfake. If they are feeling like they are getting that it's a deepfake content, they have to take it down. So in Indian context, how we are dealing the deepfake? What are the legal provisions? We have a privacy and personality right under Article 21. The Article 21 of the Indian Constitution talks about the right to life and personal liberty. And in various cases, the Supreme Court interpreted, or Supreme Court established the number of rights that available under Article 21. And right to privacy was mentioned in the Puttaswamy case, Puttaswamy judgment, that right of privacy is a part of Article 21. Okay. And the IT Act of 2006 and Section 66 punishes the violation of privacy through image capturing. 66E. Section 67 prohibits the obscene or sexually explicit content often used in deepfake porn cases. So IPC 292 and BNS 294 talks about the obscene content. That obscene content, if you are publishing that obscene content, that is an offense. But here, Section 67 of IT Act also prohibit the use of obscene content through social or through digital media. And 69A, Section 69 allows the government to block the website if they are violating these norms. It's power of government to block the websites. And the BNS Section 356 talks about the defamation. Earlier it was IPC 419 and 500. Now it is under the Bharatiya Nyaya Samhita. BNS 356 talks about defamation. If through digital media or whatever, if someone is talking, or someone is defaming another person, Section 356, a period of 2 years or imprisonment or something is there. And Section 318 talks about cheating. It was a 420 IPC earlier. It is 318 cheating. Section 319 impersonation, like pretending someone, like identity theft. Section 294 display of obscene content. 292 IPC was there earlier. GLP-1 revolution from diabetes to Alzheimer's. So what is this GLP-1? It is glucagon-like peptide 1. It's a naturally occurring hormone and a neurotransmitter. So what is this GLP-1? This GLP-1 is responsible for, or else like it's secrete after eating. It is responsible for like a feeling of reducing the hunger. Okay, after eating, this GLP-1 will be segregated by the small intestine, and a hindbrain. Hindbrain will be segregating it, and it simulate the insulin release and suppress the glucagon, thereby reducing the blood glucose level. So it is simulate insulin release, GLP-1, and it act on the brain to reduce the hunger and increase the satiety. and has a receptors in multiple organs like kidney, liver, heart, and brain. So what is the importance? From lab to life-saving drug GLP-1, what is it is doing? Researchers led to long-acting GLP-1 analog which have a revolutionary type 2 diabetes treatment. There are diabetes are two type. Type 1 diabetes there, type 2 diabetes is there. Type 1 diabetes is a uh, it's not a genetic problem like that. It our own immune cells are attacking the insulin segregating isolate, that is type 1 diabetes. But type 2 diabetes because of their lifestyle, and it's changed the global attitude towards the obesity. Obesity is actually from a lifestyle issue. Obesity now actually it is changing the perspective that obesity is not a lifestyle issue. It is a treatable biological condition, obesity. So the key innovation is using this fatty acid acylation to attract the GLP-1 to albumin. What we will do, and naturally, albumin is a naturally blood protein. It extended the drug's life from 2 minutes to 160 hours, making once in a week injection is enough for a controlling this type 2 diabetes. For insulin, you don't need to take daily. Weekly once this injection is enough to control the type 2 diabetes. How? Using GLP-1. GLP-1 will be like attached to fatty acid acetylate. Then once in a week injection is enough. And about Alzheimer's, GLP-1 is about Alzheimer's. GLP-1 is an anti-inflammatory drug hormone. Also, it has an anti-inflammatory effect on the brain, are being exposed as a new pathway to treat Alzheimer's. So, using GLP-1, we can resist or we can prevent the condition of an Alzheimer's. Unlike a traditional treatment like a targeted amyloid plaque or tau protein, GLP-1 targets the brain inflammation, an earlier and a possible cause of mechanisms in neurodegeneration. So, we can resist the condition of Alzheimer's earlier itself, can prevent it. Another topic, the Grok AI. Grok AI gave some pro-Hitler responses. So it's a AI chatbot that when someone asked about the Hitler, Grok AI gave some pro-Hitler responses. So why? What was an issue? About AI, like the common AIs like ChatGPT and all, AIs are mirror, not a mind. AI doesn't have a mind to think. AI is be programmed in such a way that it has to think like human, but how it will be thinking? It will be using the training data. Whatever data we are giving during the training time, it will be using the training data and it will be giving the response based on the training data. So that AI is actually a mirror of our own response or our own interaction. AI is just like a mirror. It is not a mind. And the training data is having a value alignment. Whatever data we are giving during the training, if we are giving a pro-Hitler data during training, it will be replying in that manner only. And even though that open AI like ChatGPT kind of an AIs have an open source AI, but the lack transparency is lacked there. They are not really revealing their training data. They will be revealing like how they are thinking, that open source, how they are thinking and what all the sources are there, but their training data is not revealed. And the fixes when these kind of issues are happening, those are superficial fixes, that deep problems are not being addressed properly. That if suppose for example, if a Grok AI is giving some pro-Hitler response, that response itself will be deleted. That Hitler related things will be deleted. Other than that, there is no major change will happen, like that mindset change will happen for AI. That mindset is not being changed. And misalignment is a technical and ethical crisis, like during a ethical crisis or ethical situation, that alignment sometime, like because of this trained data, that alignment will not be proper. And AI reflects its environment, like that whatever things are posted in X, that is a former Twitter, AI is using these data for telling this or for proposing its opinion or idea. So the environment which AI exists, the AI uses those environment for giving us data. So what are the limits of current AI? The fragile alignment mechanism, that alignment can be changed at any time. AI doesn't have any hard and fast rule or any ideology there to follow, that fragile alignment mechanism. Then the ethical danger of ideological that influenced design, like A is being influenced by the environment, influenced by the interaction data, and the opacity of the commercial AI system. The training data is not transparent, it is not revealed, and the need of a stronger regulation and transparency and open research is there. For AI, there is no strong legal or legislations are there. 31 Atlas, it is the third interstellar object passes through our solar system, third non-interstellar system. We are observing for this interstellars, but this is the third non-interstellar particle object that passes through the solar system. Okay, so how how does the scientist identify this is an interstellar object? What are the criteria? One is the trajectory analysis. This will have a trajectory which is completely different from other objects in the solar system. The solar system, the object like our planets or other celestial bodies, we will be following an elliptical path that revolves around the sun, right? But this interstellar object will be following a completely different trajectory which doesn't have any connection with the sun or any orbital actions, and the speed and distance will be different. That interstellar object will be having a higher speed than other planetary bodies, other celestial bodies in the solar system. The speed will be very high, so that itself it's actually evident that it doesn't have a connection with the sun or any solar system. And the gravitational influence is low, that the speed is a example for that. The gravitational influence of sun will not be there, so because of this, that speed will be very high, and above that this object can exit from the solar system because there is no gravitational influence by the sun. So by analyzing these trajectory, speed and the gravitational influence, scientists can confirm whether this object is a interstellar or not. So why 31 Atlas is important? The estimated age is about around 7 billion years ago, 7 plus billion years ago. That is much before the solar system is being formed. So studying this interstellar will give some evidence about the formation of our solar system. One is important, and scientific value provides the clue conditions in the alien star system. This actually from another star, from star dust. So about the another star system, actually without going to there, we are getting some information with this. We can study this and we can get information about this new star. And the chemical analysis also will give you the new idea or new things about the other star systems. Okay. Next topic is Locust Swami. What is locust? This is locust. Okay, locust will be this kind of a like an insect, a flying insect. They are responsible for a vast crop losses. Okay, they will be eating and sorry, they will be coming and eating this wheat or as like other crops, leaf. Then will be coming in group. They will be forming this swarming like birds. So what is the reason why they are forming this swarming, and how to remove, or like how to arrest this swarming, then how to save our crops. So what was discovered recently, that there is a pheromone is identified, that is 4VA, for vinyl vinyl anisole. It's a pheromone. This pheromone is released when they found food. If they are finding food, if they are finding crops, they will be releasing this pheromone. This pheromone will attract other locusts and they will be forming a swarm. There is an enzyme mechanism is there. It is identified that 4VA converts the 4VP, that it is a non-swarming hormone via an enzyme called 4VPMT. Okay. So what they are doing, they will transfer this anti-swarming and hormone will be changed to swarming hormones. So this VPMT like enzyme is the responsible thing for changing this 4VA into for VP. Okay, so what we have to do? We have to do something about this for VP empty. So how scientists discovered to block the Swami? One approach is gene deactivation. That gene responsible for changing this for VP to for VA to for VP. That gene deactivation can be done. Another approach is molecular inhibitors. That molecular inhibitors will arrest this for VPMT and arrest this enzyme mechanism. Another approach is RNA interface, like using mRNA or an RNA interface insecticide. It is having a future potential. It will using RNA interface. What we can do? We can arrest this enzyme mechanism. So they can arrest this swarming pattern and save our soap. Criminalizing adults and relationship. This issue was raised in the light of a Supreme Court judgment. The case was a 14 years old girl started living with a 25-year-old male, and the girl's parents filed a case, and the Punjab and Haryana High Court. No, Bihar. It happened in West Bengal. I'm sorry, West Bengal. High Court gave a punishment of 20 years to this 25-year-old male. That case was under the POCSO. And what happened? What Supreme Court gave its judgment. So after this judgment, the girl left alone with a child in a shelter. So the Supreme Court did not impose any sentence. Supreme Court changed the sentence, but the conviction is there. Conviction is not resolved on this young man accused under the POCSO for act with a 14 years old girl. Consider the girl's own voice. So the girls from West Bengal had left home to live with a 25-year-old man, gave birth to a child and was living in a shelter while the man was jailed for 20 years. So what are the what are the stand of Supreme Court? The court took a human-centric approach here. Like before sentencing, the court appointed an expert committee. That committee includes the clinical psychologist, social scientist, child welfare officer. The committee is formed, and the committee determined the girl's own wishes. And the report revealed her desire to continue to live with the accused person, and her suffering due to the institutionalization and lack of support. So the girl gave consent. That girl was living with this 25-year-old man with consent only. So the consent matter here. So the critic of says that there is a this blanket criminalization of this POSCO Act. Like the POSCO Act criminalize all sexual activities under 18 regardless of the consent. But in the changing social or like cultural scenarios, that significant percentage, around 80% of the sexual act conducted before 18 years are actually based on the consent. So under POCSO involves consensual adolescent relationship. So the blanket approach to harm the adolescent, especially girl who often lose the educational shelter and emotional support, is actually not acceptable. So that blanket approach should not be changed to consensual based, and the age also should be reconsidered. That now it is 18 years, that also should be reconsidered. Excuse me. Recently, the Axiom 4, which took the Subhanshu Shukla to space, International Space Station, reached back to Earth. But those spacecraft, or like the pod, that spacecraft, splashed down on the ocean instead of a normal landing like a aeroplane. So why spacecraft prefer slash downs? What is the reason? Why? See, that object is coming from the space. So they will be coming in a speed of around 27,000 km per hour. That is re-entry speed, re-entry from space to atmosphere. So in that speed, maneuvering or as like a normal landing like an aeroplane is much difficult, and a complex system is needed. And it is like a very, what can I say, we have to use more force or like more power should be there for a maneuvering. And the system is very expensive. If you are going for this maneuvering at a landing equipment, that equipment will be very expensive and very complex will be there. So less equipment is needed for the splash landing on a ocean. And landing on a ground or like land, it need precision. Buildings will be there. Chance of accidents are there, like how our aeroplane will land. But ocean have a vast open space. We can splash down on ocean. There is no chance of this accuracy is needed. And the shape of this code is actually, it's float ready capsules. It will be floating like a boat. It will not sink. So these are the reasons like why we prefer splashdown instead of landing for spacecraft. So how we are doing this? After the re-entry, one parachute will be deployed and that will reduce the speed, and it will be doing in a staged manner. Like 3 parachutes will be there, like 3 times it will be reducing the speed. Okay, that's 27,000 kilometer per hour. While touching the ocean, that speed will be around 30 kilometer per hour, 30 to 40 kilometer per hour. Okay, so from 27,000 to 30 kilometers, we have to reduce the speed like this. So with the multiple parachutes, we will reduce the speed and splash down on the ocean bed. There is a growing concern about over tourism in European Union. That inmates, or it's like that people, local people are protesting against the over tourism in Europe. So what is the reason? What are the concerns? Due to this over tourism, mainly in the Eastern Europe, countries like Italy, Portugal, and Spain, they are protesting because of this burden of over tourism, that they are not getting house to live. The housing expense is actually very high. Rent is becoming very high. Like most of these houses are being rented out, or else like will be giving for overnight uses for this tourist. So the local people are not getting enough space to live. That living expense is so high in these European countries. So rising housing cost, economic over dependence on tourism. That percentage of GDP that depending on tourism is very high. Economic over dependence, and the tourist spending hurt the locals. The tourist spending, like they are staying for overnight only, that spending actually like hurting the locals, and out of the pocket expenditure is actually increasing for them. So about the axiom 4 again, Shubhanshu Shukla came back to Earth after 18 days of International Space Station stay. So what are the key takeaway from that? They conducted some microgravity experiments. So what is microgravity? Microgravity is a condition where no that gravity is very less but is not zero. Gravity will be very less but not zero. That is a condition of microgravity. Okay, so microgravity enable object or people to float on the space. So why these microgravity is important? We can conduct the materials, or like that biological behavior during while it is in microgravity. These kind of experiments are being conducted. Okay, that microalgae research conducted in space ISS. Microalgae research, like how the biodiesel can be from generation of, like what about the food. Okay, and myogenesis study about the muscle, like what is happening to the muscle tissue while we are in space. What are the the challenges that the space tourists will be facing. And sprouting of methi and moong seed in the space done by uh, the team. And astronaut, he health and safety, like why it is important for us. We are proposing a space mission, that is Gaganyaan, India's own space mission, Gaganyaan. And we are proposing a space station for India. Now we are reliant on international space station. We will be planning, also we are planning for a setting a space station. For that actually that trials are there, like the docking experiment already done, then Gaganyaan trial flight already done. Now the 3 people are going to space for a 3 astronauts, not astronauts. We call them Vyomanauts. Vyomanauts with a robot, Vyomitra, is going to space. So these are the trials for setting up an international space station for India. India's own space station, Vyom station. So the astronauts' health and safety, that knowledge is important for us. And Tadrigate study, that Indian strain Tadrigate study is also conducted. Tadrigates, world's strongest creature, or like a world's strongest species. They are just around 0.6 millimeter very microorganism, very small organism tartrate. We call it as water bear, because it has 6 legs that resembles the claws or like paws of a bear, and looks like a bear, teddy bear, water bear. So this tardigrades, that Indian strain of the tardigrade, what is a specialty of tardigrade? It's actually very strong, that it can withstand in space, withstand in high pressure, withstand in low pressure, extreme temperature. It can withstand the like even a radiation kind of a condition can withstand. Okay, without oxygen, without water, without food, it is actually having a resilience, or it's like it having a potential to withstand in any of these extremities. So studying about this tardigrade will help us in withstanding extremities. One day, like if you need to leave this planet and stay somewhere else also, this extremity studies actually, that's strain or gene, what is helping the tardigrade to stay in this extremity, that is also important. So tardigrade's Indian strain is being studied there, and cyanobacterial experiment also conducted using the centrifuges, and seed resilience trials. We sprouted seeds and how this seed are resilient in space, and why astronauts is reconditioning after coming back from space. That these people stayed only for 18 days, but they were living in microgravity or zero gravity condition. So they will be having this coordination issues, like muscle problems will be there, balance problem will be there, and so these kind of physical mental recondition is needed after the comeback of every space tourist. A new term that we should be keep in mind for coming UPSC prelims and mains, PM Dhan Dhanya Krishi Yojana. It is a combination of 36 schemes under 11 ministries combined to a single scheme, that is PM Dhan Dhanya Krishi Yojana. It is announced in the Union Budget of 2025-26. The objectives are enhance the agriculture productivity, promote sustainable agriculture practice, increase the crop diversification, and improve post-harvest storages. The budget outlay was 24,000 crore every 6 years. Sorry, over 6 years. The implementation will be state and private sector to partner with the center. Okay, will be operational from 2025-26. So what are the coverage? It will be covering 100 district, and selected based on low productivity, low cropping intensity, and low credit disbursement. So the 100 district will be selected where productivity is low, where the cropping intensity is low, when the credit disbursement is low, when the credit is not available for farmers. Credit like loans also a concern, for finance is also a concern. So we will be selecting 100 district, and at least one district per state will be selected, and the beneficiaries like will be 1.7 crore farmers over India. And the approach will be panchayat and block level post-harvest infrastructure, focus on irrigation, credit availability, and storage facility, and will use a model similar to the aspirational district program. Another landmark judgment by the Supreme Court, you can use it in ethics, essays, and all. The secret spousal recordings are admissible in court. The spousal conversation, that conversation between a married couple, is protected under section 122 of Indian Evidence Act. That spousal conversation should not be published under any circumstances by either of the spouse. But there are exceptions. What are the exceptions? When there is a legal suit is happening between the spouse, when there is a divorce or something happening between the spouse, or as like one person is accusing another person on criminal charges, then the spousal records are admissible in court. So what are the spousal or marital privilege? It defines under the section 122 of the Indian Evidence Act, and it protects communication between spouse during the marriage or even after the divorce also, that conversation should not be published. A spouse cannot compelled or voluntarily disclose such communication without the consent of other spouse. The exception is suit between married couple and when one person is prosecuted for a criminal charge against them. So what are the Supreme Court key observation about this judgment? The relevance is more important than the model of collection. The relevance of the evidence is important. If the evidence is relevant, that mode of collection is not much important. Okay, here if there is a criminal case is there, that evidence is more important. Mode of collection is not. And there is a discussion about the privacy versus fair trial. Both are mentioned in the Article 21 of the Constitution. Doesn't have any like upend that privacy is more important or fair trial is more important like that. But there is a when there is a kind of a case or that legal suit is happening, that fair trial is more important than privacy. Privacy can be compromised for fair trial. And there is no blanket protection of Section 122 of the Indian Evidence Act. And in the digital age of interpretation, these kind of secret recordings between a spouse also, it can be treated as a witness, a third person. It can be treated as a silent witness. There is an article about the need of a earthquake resilient infrastructure, seismic resilience infrastructure in Delhi. The tectonic shift is still happening around 4 to 5 centimeter per year. Tectonic shift is happening in our Indian subcontinent. That's make the relevance of a seismic resilient infrastructure. And July 10, 2025 in Delhi, there was a earthquake in Delhi is not a new thing. Every summer there will be earthquake, and that magnitude will be in a range from 2 to 6 2 to 5 sometime. There was a 4.4 shallow depth earthquake happened that experience in Delhi that exposes the high seismic vulnerability of the capital, poor compliance with the seismic safety codes, and 80% of Delhi infrastructure dates 2000 must not be earthquake resistant. Okay, especially in southern Delhi. Then seismic vulnerability of India. India lies at the collision boundary of the Indian and the Eurasian plate. Yes, because that's why that Himalayan mountains are there. And there is a northward shift. And a high risk zone. See, zone 4. Delhi is in zone 4. And the other states like some states like northeastern state and Andaman Nicobar Island, Kutch and part of the northern Bihar are in zone 5 of this seismic activity. Or as like earthquake zone. The Thailand Prime Minister, Paetongtarn Shinawatra, got suspended by the Constitutional Court of Thailand. What are the grounds? During a conversation with the former Cambodian President Hun Sen, she mentioned the Thailand military general as an opponent. And he suggested that she is thinking about amending the Thailand constitution, which is more centric, will be, or consolidating her power. That was her conversation. It was a 17-minute phone conversation. And Cambodian former Prime Minister leaked that phone conversation because of the Thailand Constitutional Court. Not because of that, there was a petition. So her critic says that it reflects the strategic plan to centralizing the authority and insult the military, and the conversation was interpreted as a compromising Thailand's national sovereignty. So what are the legal basis? Like a group of 36 lawmakers petitioned the court alleging the disrespect of Thailand's sovereignty, that MPs, their Thailand MPs petitioned and seeking her removal for attempting the amending the constitutions improperly. And the legal basis was based on the Thai constitution provisions to preventing the foreign influence in governance. So because of that, she got suspended from the prime ministerialship. So about the Indian context, there is no provision for suspending the prime minister in India. Prime minister cannot be suspended on any basis until and unless he is experiencing, so he is enjoying the majority in the lower house of the Lok Sabha. Prime minister cannot be suspended. There is no provision of suspension itself. Prime minister can be removed. How? The prime minister can be removed when the Lok Sabha passes a no confidence motion. Then the prime minister and the government will be removed. But the prime minister still can dissolve the Lok Sabha. Okay, we cannot suspend the prime minister or the Supreme Court, or even the appointed person is president. President also can suspend the prime minister when he is enjoying the majority in the Lok Sabha. That is Indian context. India is condemning against the double standard of US on Russian oil. US proposed legislation impose a taxes like planning to impose a tax of a 500% for on countries which is buying oil from Russia, that is India, China, Brazil, all these things. So what is an issue? What NATO or what US says? US wanted, or it's like NATO's want India, China, Brazil kind of countries to force Russia to stop Russia-Ukraine war. For that, they are proposing to impose this 500% tax, or if Indian is buying oil from Russia. But India's response was India's security is described as an overridden priority, that India buys oil from 40 countries, including Russia. The diversification is very high. The ministry spokesperson said that it need to avoid the double standard. What is the double standard here? What is a Western hypocrisy? Indian external ministers indirectly pointed out the EU nations, European Union nations buying oil and natural gas (LNG) from Russia, gas from Russia, despite the sanction is there, and they are buying this oil and gases from that Nayara Energies from Gujarat, which partially owned by the Russian Rosneft. And Russia's oil export distribution as of February 2025, 50%, near to 50% of Russian oil goes to China, and 38% goes to India, and around 6% will be going to Europe. So there was a news about a type 1 diabetes treatment, lab grown stem cell derived isolate. That isolate is responsible for segregating this pancreas insulin. So that lab grown insulin isolate cell will be reintroduced in the type 1 diabetic person, and instead of taking that insulin medicine, we can fight against the type 1 diabetes. Akash Prime, there was news about Akash Prime test flight. Akash Prime is an advanced, or is like improved version of our existing Akash missile. So we have test flight Akash Prime along with the Prithvi one also. What is Akash Prime? It's a medium range surface to air missile. Medium range, the range will be around 25 to 30 kilometers. It is a surface to air missile, and the launch platform can be mobile. It can be transferred from one place to another, mobile launching platform developed by DRDO. So what are the new features of Akash Prime? It is improved accuracy and reliability in high altitude and cold weather like our Ladakh. So it will strategically improve the air defense of India, and launched enhanced the seeker and better performance, like to combat the aerial threat, like a fast moving aerial targets like a fighter jet or a drone. So like our S-400, it will be targeting the aerial threat which is moving faster. We will be like monitoring, or else like a better precision will be there, and modified for extreme operational environment. Another very important topic for UPSC, Swachh Sarvekshan Award 2025, so 2024-25. So this award actually like giving to cities, cleaner cities. Ahmedabad was declared as the cleanest big city, like more than 10 lakh population, Ahmedabad. The second place goes to Bhopal, third for Lucknow. So the award presented by President Murmu, and total 4,589 cities participated in the 9th edition of this survey. So what are the key categories? Super Swachh League cities. This category is for previous award or previous top ranking cities. We will check the continuity of this cleanliness. If it is continuing as like the performance of that cleanliness for the past 3 years, based on that Super Swachh League cities will be declared. And the population based ranking will be there, like small population, small cities, medium cities, populous cities, like super metro plus cities, like that. Population based ranking will be there. And the special awards, these are facts. Cleanest Ganga town, Prayagraj. Cleanest cantonment, Secunderabad. Then Safai Mitra Surakshit Shahar Award, that is Vishakhapatnam, Jabalpur and Gorakhpur. And Swachh Mahakumbh 2025, that was a special mention about the Mahakumbh 2025, and state level awards also there. So look at some UPSC relevant concept. Swachh Bharat Mission, it is a flagship program for launching in 2013 to eliminate the open defecation, like human waste segregation, the defecation, improving waste management in both in rural and urban. For that, we have divided it into Swachh Bharat Mission, Gramin and urban. So the Gramin will be managed, was managed by the Ministries of Jal Shakti and Housing, and urban will be under the Ministry of Urban Affairs. And Swachh Bharat 2.0, that is launched in 2021, it focused on garbage-free cities, then facial sludge and plastic waste management. And cities are being ranked to ODF plus and ODF plus, open defecation free and open defecation free plus ranking will be there. Cities with no open defecation and ODF plus means include the solid and liquid waste management. And the 3R3, that reduce, reuse and recycle. So this aligned with the Jaipur Declaration of 12th 3R Forum of 2025. So these kind of facts are important for both prelims, and you can include this information in your mains answers also. There's a discussion about can the biofuel can replace the fossil fuel, and the main concentration was on bioethanol. So can this bioethanol or biofuel can replace the fossil fuel? It is a first generation biofuel made from the sugarcane, beet juice, rice, maize and a grain. So it is produced produced through anaerobic fermentation, that using microorganisms like yeast and bacteria. And ethanol production is in India has crossed 1 billion gallons, that contributed to 5% of the total global output. Okay, so benefits of the bioethanol. What are the benefits? That one is cleaner combustion compared to the fossil fuel. That combustion will be cleaner. That carbon segregation or like emission of carbon or polluting agent will be less, reducing the CO2 emission. And this is renewable, like uses carbon already that present in the atmosphere, like that carbon is being like used by the plants, then plant byproducts only used for this bioethanol production. Okay, and it is actually important for energy security also. Now, as of now, we are reliant more on the foreign countries, also like other countries, for energy security by importing fossil fuels. But excuse me, but using this biofuel, that for energy security also can be excuse me achieved. And it is an economic opportunity for rural or agricultural sectors. That it's an opportunity for farmers also. And we will be blending this bioethanol with the existing fuels, existing fossil fuels like E5, E10, E15. That means 5% of fossil fuel will be, 5% of bioethanol will be mixed with the fossil fuel. So what is the benefit? We don't need to modify the existing engines of the vehicle. We can use in the same engine only, but we will be blending this ethanol with the existing fuel. So India's target is 20%, that is E20 by 2025. But what are the concern? What is the challenge or the issue that like a debate based on a food security versus fuel? Which is more important, food security or fuel? Food security, yes, that crop is important, that wheat, all these things are important for food security. But we are going to use these things, sugarcane, all these things, for a production of bioethanol. So that will be giving more importance to fuel, like fuel security, or like importance to fuel. So what is important? That question is there. And the second generation biofuel, it yet not developed. We are under planning already research is going on. Second generation biofuel, and that it is so expensive also. Second generation biofuel is expensive. As of now, we are not doing this. Environmental risk is there. Like if the biofuel production is getting more, so what is an expected environment risk? More and more forest will be removed for this production of this food grains, production of this sugar cane, and the fertilizers that we are adding on the soil for the production of these things, that will segregate, means that will be leaching to the water bodies, soil degradation will be there. So whatever benefit we are getting from reducing the carbon emission there, these environment hazards or environment risks are also there. So about India's role in ethanol market, India is the third largest ethanol producer after USA and Brazil. This was a prelims question in 2025 preliminary examination. Like after Brazil, sorry, after USA, Brazil is the second largest. So India is the third largest. Okay. Then it promoting production from molasses and surplus grains and integrated with the circular economy that practices use the byproducts like bagasse and boiler ashes. Okay.
Hmm. Yes, everyone. I think many of the topic has been covered by the our Suasar. I think you have got this some clarity with respect to these topics, and there are few topics that also we have to cover, like one with respect to one nation, one election. This topic, and then we have the today's news with respect to removal of the judges. So that also need to be covered. Then there was an editorial previously in the last week about the secularism. So because we don't have the time to explain these and the few more topics, so our time is almost about to end within 1.5 hours. So you can also read about the secularism. Earlier there was an editorial about the secularism. In this article, the author saying that the secularism was already there in the original constitution implicitly, not explicitly, because the Constitutional Assembly had debate about should we add this term, should we establish a secular state in India rather. So the members decided that in preamble, instead of mentioning the term God, we will mention the we the people. Originally, the secular keyword was not there in the preamble explicitly, but later Indira Gandhi government through the 42nd Amendment added the keyword secularism along with the socialism integrity. So this topic is again relevant for our upcoming examination, in even in the future examination, because preamble is one such a topic, the topic that is relevant for our prelims examination and also for the mains examinations. Then the another topic that was recently in the news was with respect to Forest Rights Act, forest governance. There was an issue in Chhattisgarh that these forest department was taking over the control of the management of affairs. You please read about an act we have, Forest Rights Act 2006. This act was passed by the parliament to give a right for the village, forest village, because we know that some of the people are living in the forest. We the people are some of the people are living in the forest. They know better about their forest. The forest is considered their home, their village. If we give this authority and power to manage the forest that they belongs to, so this rights was given to this Gram Sabha village in that region. This act that we have passed is Forest Rights Act 2006. Now this act was in conflict with whenever forest department is taking over the control of the management, that is taking over the control of the Gram Sabha or the village, it is contradictory to the principles of the decentralizations. You can also read about the Forest Rights Act. So far these are the topics that is relevant. With this, we will conclude our this current affairs session, and still we feel the absence of our Kavita ma'am, who is daily with his current affairs sessions. So for that purpose, like we have managed this class, I think you have benefited. I think you have at least identified these are the topic were in the news in the past weeks, and we have to cover. Just attending just one class will not be enough. You have to go through the same topic again, and we have to expand our knowledge through reading and understanding. Thank you everyone for attending the sessions, and we'll wind up with the sessions. You can go for a break. Then after that, we'll have a session.